What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Dev Unchained, the #1 game development podcast about game development and the lifestyle thereof. I am your host, Brandon Pham, and with me a special guest, at least once a month, Ray Graham. How you doing, Ray?
Doing good, man. What's going on, Brandon?
It's been a while, man.
I know. Thanks for having me come through. Yeah.
Of course, always a pleasure to have you on, and I always need my monthly dose of what's up. And for those who haven't read the title of this episode, it is a Roundtable news episode, which also means that we take the biggest topic of the month and discuss it openly through opinions of our own and not reflective of our company. And this helps kind of figure out what the trend is regarding the game industry. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about this. So the main thing is, this is right off the hot press here, the Steamdeck, right? The Steamdeck was something that literally just popped up today, as of this recording. For those that are listening, you're about 4 days later, right? But this, I guess, was long rumored for a while, Ray, right? I didn't know it was as serious, though. I didn't think that they were. I thought they were all VR focused. But I think it's generally. Why don't I ask your opinion? What do you think this move is about?
I have no idea. I think.
Well, thank you, Ray.
No. I think it was long rumored, and then it kind of took me by surprise when it came out. So I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I immediately started asking the question, why though? You know what I mean? And yeah, it's kind of seems like it's similar to the Steam boxes, that came out a while back that all flopped miserably. But now it's portable, so I'm just confused about why now? Who's it for?
It's for us.
It seems interesting though. Seems interesting.
So is it the same concept? You streaming from your PC? Your PC still needs to be on, or how does it work? What is it?
Oh, it's a port. It has a full on AMD. APU inside of there, CPU and GPU all built into one. It's built on Zen 2.
So it runs solo then. You basically can access your Steam library and play anywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to download that onto an SD card then, that huge.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that makes me raise a couple eyebrows is, it comes with, you get in 3 different flavors, right? 64 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes, or 512 gigabytes, right? And the 256 and 512 are basically, PCIe Gen 3, type SSD cards. So, fast loading speeds. But these days, a game like Control or Fortnite or Warzone would take up
100 gigs.
Damn near half of that, right? So it also has an expandable micro SD slot as well. But the built-in memory just off the bat is kind of...
It's trash.
Well, it's just games these days are just so big, man. You could probably only have a couple games on there.
We talked about this a while ago. One of the emerging problems of the game industry isn't part of it's getting bigger and better, but the storage space there hasn't been any leaps and bounds of solving this ongoing issue. I mean, Stadia for a while was that beacon of solving this storage issue, but now that's out the window because Google paused it at year 2 of year 3 of their game plan, right? What have you heard in the grapevine? Is there anything fixing this? Because these games are getting ridiculous. It's like a life choice now whether to install Warzone or play NBA 2K. It's do I want to sacrifice the storage space?
I mean, I'm not living that life. I got
you got plenty. Yeah, I got this guy's too special. This guy's special.
I got 5 terabytes in my current machine, right? But yeah, I think there's a lot of other streaming players that are out there that are probably gonna streaming is one way to solve this problem. But as always, though, like I think hard drive space is just going to continue to get bigger and faster, and bigger and faster SSDs for cheaper, right? Like I think that's just going to happen.
So that's the trajectory, and there isn't going to be some awesome compression technology in the near future that's going to help with this.
Well, I mean, the PS5 has that compression technology. It's like it's Oodle from Rad Tools that does compress down the size of the textures like more than say on the Xbox One, right? Like I think people have done.
What about the NVIDIA scaler thing, where it was? I think you've heard of it, right?
What?
It's
DLSS you're talking about?
Something like that, where it is able to kind of hyperpixelate lower res and makes it run.
Well, that's just the main render target, right? So it renders to render target at a lower resolution, then it upscales it using AI to upscale it, right?
Right. What is that technology called? DLSS?
DLSS, yeah. And in on AMD cards, it's what is it called? Fidelity Super Resolution or something like that. Is what it's called. And those though is only at runtime, right? It's not really
nothing with storage. Yeah.
Storage, yeah.
Oh, what are we to do, man? I feel like we're just on this path of like surefire death. Like everyone has to run around with a hard drive basically to play a game.
I wish I had that problem.
Yeah. Well, for podcast listeners, let me kind of describe the spec of this to kind of give you an idea. So, it sounds like you have a better idea of what the hardware spec. Can you kind of list them again to like what's so impressive about the Steam Deck that you're seeing? Well, versus the Switch and all this stuff.
It's definitely way more powerful.
More powerful, right? Okay.
But it's AMD APU. So the CPU is a Zen 2 4-core 8-thread 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz CPU. The GPU is 8 RDNA. So it's RDNA. It's basically an RDNA with 2 compute units. 1 to 1.6 gigahertz. I guess the 1 to 1.6 or the 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz is whether it's docked or undocked, right? 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then the storage that I talked about before. Like it's a small mini PC. Like that's what it is, right?
Right off the bat, man, I think this is awesome. Like,
really?
Well, this for many reasons, right? I think it's a very smart move for Valve to do something like this. They've always been locked to a desktop, right? And more so a very niche market nowadays to very high powered PC. This allows them to expand that business. This allows them to make their library basically Netflix at this point for games, right? To kind of bring awareness back to their library being the best.
Is it really their library, right?
Well, I mean, like, I think out of all the businesses, Steam still is the most versatile in terms of my games, right? Mm-hmm. I have the hugest library in Steam out of all my systems. Even when I build up my PS3 or Xbox library, it's all sitting in a bin right now because, the hardware takes a while to set up. It takes a lot of room, and most people kind of opt in retiring those things in the garage, and you never see them again. And so I think the backlog library is still an issue, right? A lot of the PS5, Xbox Series X, people are begging to buy the game again, but the backward compatibility is always like a problem, right? Steam, from day one, I can still play the games that I've always wanted to play. So in terms of access and not having to buy the game again, which I've always thought was really stupid, right? Just to play the remastered version.
Yeah.
Steam still has that over anything else. I think the systems are kind of trying to fix that with their monthly subscriptions. You have like the Netflix of things, but like there is something very awesome about your library that you've had since 10 years ago, that you can pump up and play anytime. And this to me is fantastic because now I can really dedicate more time to playing these games and not be locked in my office anymore. I think that's one of the main reasons that, at least the first excitement that I got when I heard about it, was like, yes, finally, a solution.
When you ain't playing these games on the go, you already know you ain't doing that. And then two,
yeah, but give me that Steam guilt, man.
And then two, why don't you just have a Switch? You know, like, why get this over a Switch? Like,
well, Switch doesn't have third-party games that I like. You know, Control, as it's kind of showcasing here. Like, I have a lot, like Star Wars Jedi. Like, none of these games that is non-Nintendo. I love the Switch. Yeah. I love the Switch the same way I still love Nintendo. You know, Nintendo exclusive games, right? That's their Apple ecosystem, right? So you got to play it on their hardware. But everything else, I don't really have a solution. Like, I'm kind of playing between systems, and I do hate the fact that I have to retire old. I have so many good PS1 games, PS2 games that I wouldn't mind kind of busting out, but it's just, you know, you're retiring old systems all the time, and I think this is a great solution, man. This gives you that ability, and a lot for many who don't have a high powered PC have finally, like, the best, I would say, the library to choose from. In addition to, like, I would say Steam is still very affordable because of their seasonal sales, right?
Yeah, like, I don't see this being like, for somebody who's sitting at home right now saying, oh, I don't have a very powerful PC, so I just can't wait for a Steam box, right? Like those folks already have consoles. And most of the games that, you know, like all the games you're seeing here, Control and Jedi, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order,
yeah,
you can play those on console, right? And the console that you're playing on will be more powerful than this thing, right? Because this is a portable, right? It is the most powerful portable handheld, like, thing, but why wouldn't I just play on my console? Oh, now I want it to be portable. If portable is something that matters to me,
yeah,
I already bought a Switch already, right? So,
but these games,
one of the videos they did for this, they showed Hades running on this thing, right?
Let me see.
It's one of those screens, I can't remember, but they show Hades, and Hades is on Switch. Like, I could just buy Hades on Switch, right? So I don't see.
Well, come on,
how it
man.
Makes sense. It only makes
That's
sense.
One game, but look at basically any game.
It only makes sense if I already have, like you said, I already have my Steam library. I'm a PC gamer. I already have my Steam library built up, and I have the option to play some of these games on the go, like if I'm traveling or something like that. But, like, really? Like, I don't know, right? And then some of the other functionality they're showing of this is, like, it is a PC. You can dock it. You could hook it up to a monitor. It could run a 4K monitor at 120 hertz, right? Which is crazy, right? And so then, but I'm like, why would I do that? You know, if I'm a current Steam user, why the hell would I dock this thing and use it as a desktop? Like, I don't.
Let me tell you why, old man. All right,
I don't get it.
Let me tell you why, old man.
Oh,
all right. Yeah. The Switch itself was amazing, right? For a long time, Nintendo has been trying to solve the issue of, like, how do we remove you from your couch, right? Through iterations of the Wii, the Wii U even, we finally got the Switch, the ultimate, I think, console system, right? The consoles are going with another direction. They're trying the streaming thing. They're trying to get the app going. They're trying to get the mobile phones going. For the main reason being that they want to extend that experience outside of the comfort of your home, right?
Sure. Man.
So Nintendo Switch made that leap. You know, I hope they keep going in that direction. I hope they don't go back to a home console. The dock thing is the equivalent of the home console. The Steam library as a business, Valve, right, haven't really made any big noise lately, right? They've just been continuing up on this momentum, but they are locked with a very niche market of mostly powerful PC users, right? But they also are king on the PC market in terms of third-party deals and anything else they do first person, right? This, to me, maybe won't be the turnkey solution of making everything casual like the Switch does, but I think it is a step in the right direction for them to finally grow from their business of over like a decade, right? They finally are doing something, a bigger step than their own VR set, because their own VR set, yes, it probably is one of the best VR set, but that adoption, it's still a very hobbyist type of thing. This thing will basically allow everybody to enjoy third-party software without having to be tied to, yes, first-party exclusives, but like most of the good games, you can finally have that access in addition to your Switch, right? The Switch is great for, Hades and stuff like that, but we're talking about like the AAA huge games, right? That Nintendo will never sport. And like you said, it's a lesser hardware, so even if they do have that port, it's not going to be as strong. But including this, right, I still think out of all the consoles, still Steam remains to be my oldest library and my most reliant and consistent library for me to ever dig in and play a game that I want to play. Like, sure. That is something that they're finally taking advantage of.
Yeah, you've had your Steam library for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us have, right? And so we have a lot of stuff in our Steam libraries. Like, you know what? This would make more sense to me. I'd be like, oh, yes, that makes more sense. If they were like, hey.
For existing Steam users. Yeah.
No. They were like, hey, you can stream from our servers, just like Stadia, right? To a mobile device or to, your TV or to your Steam box or to your PC in a web browser using a Steam controller. Like, that would make more sense to me.
I feel like that's probably their next business plan, to be honest. It's like it's right there. I really do think they're snatching up cloud servers right now. And it's as easy because they experiment that a little bit with the Steam Link, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They already have Steam Link, which is not great, but like if they actually put some effort behind it and everything,
get some Amazon servers in there, and
they no doubt have the money to invest in that, right? So it just seems odd that they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a handheld that will compete with the Switch, which is the
I wouldn't even say
daddy of handhelds, right?
The Switch is it's playing in its own field right now. No one really competes with the Switch. They have the Nintendo exclusive. They've gotten better with the third-party ports, but it's not a complete solution for all the big games that we, other than Nintendo stuff, right? I think this is the complementary system. I have a Switch. I love the Switch. I would love this to play all the other games that isn't just Switch stuff.
You just got money to be spending. That's
well, $400 is not that bad, bro.
Well, let's
back
up. Let's back up. You of course went to the cheapest price. But,
right. There's other. Let's see. Let's look at the pricing here.
The one with the middle one is pretty expensive. $529 USD. You know what I mean?
Dude, NVMe SSD. Holy shit, man.
And the
freaking mobile
$649. Like that's
a phone.
That's a lot.
That is a phone. All right. This is the biggest thing about portable.
People get phones and pay monthly over 2 years. You know what I mean? So
sure, but I think the biggest thing with portable is it is like if the mobile market have taught us anything about games, it's like that is where the future is, right? The ability to play anywhere, anytime. That's why the Switch was a great system, because it was a hybrid. And but Nintendo is Nintendo, right? They play with their own license mostly. Nvidia kind of tried to do their own thing, the portable, but Nvidia's come on, it's not.
Dude, we've seen a lot of these, right? What was it? Game Gear,
Yes.
NVIDIA Shield. What else? Who else tried to do this? Who else has tried to do this and failed? Not named Nintendo, right? Like Nintendo owns this space, right? And like I don't see hardcore PC gamers, especially hardcore ones that have custom rigs with all the lights and cooling loops and all that kind of craziness, to spend all the money in their rig, to be like, you know what, I need to get the Steam Deck just because.
I must be the weird one, man. I'm seeing this and like, this is. Yes, if you don't buy the PS5, Xbox Series X, you're missing out on a lot of exclusives, right?
Yeah.
But of all the systems, man, of all the systems,
if it's Xbox, it's coming to PC, right? Like you know it's coming.
That's what I'm feeling. Like even some exclusives from Sony are starting to make its way to PC. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, I got that on the PC as soon as I saw it.
Well, so you also heard that Sony bought Nixies, right? And Nixies is
what did they make?
They're a well-known PC porting house.
Okay.
Right? They do a lot of PC ports of games, right? So and Sony bought them, right? So
okay, so they're thinking that path already.
Like it seems it's going that direction.
So that's what I mean, right? So here I am faced with all the new systems, and we'll throw the new Switch. We can briefly talk about it, right? Slightly upgraded Switch.
No, it's not even worth talking about.
All right, forget about it, right? So there's these 3 systems. I don't own any of these 3 new ones just yet, right? Obviously, the PlayStation and the Xbox. I haven't owned them. I'm not out there waiting to buy them just yet.
Yeah.
But out of the 3, to me, this is the most attractive, for the reason being, day one, I have all the games. Like a lot of games I haven't gotten through yet. In addition of seeing that the console exclusives, which is the main reason why you buy hardware in the first place, is starting to make its way to Steam. So I'd much rather have that ability to play on my PC if I want to, but also the ability to play and continue if I'm not on the PC. I do enjoy just not being in front of a computer a lot. Like when I was playing the last Metal Gear Solid, man, I was playing that half on my TV and half in front of my PC, just using the Steam Link, which sucks, but when you're in close quarter, it works just fine. And I love the ability to be able to transition like that and not having to like dedicate a certain spot.
I think one thing also they have to think about is how, like, I'm looking at some, like how will these games control? How will that track that feel for games that are very
they've been figuring this. I'll let you finish.
How will that feel, right? Because you can't just, like, I'm sure every game will just be on there and it will just kind of work, but how will it actually feel? How will it actually control?
Sure.
How will it perform? Right. It's a Linux-based operating system that's running like an emulator to emulate the Windows stuff. I can't remember the name, but it's on the website. But like, how will that perform for like the really intense games? Right. They also are advertising that there is an SDK, so you can tailor your game specifically for the thing. But no game studio is going to put the effort into that. And until they see the numbers, right? Until they see, there's going to be a lot of people, or unless Valve pays them to, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of battery life. There's a lot of questions still, right? And like, I can't get too like, I still don't know who's for, but I definitely on the technical side of things, like, I don't even know, like, how does it feel? Right. And all of that.
Right. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they dedicated a lot of time. I forgot what their controller was called, to getting that to feel really awesome. And I haven't used it myself, but from what I've heard and what I've seen from colleagues or just general review, it was one of the best controllers. It was a closer hybrid of the PC and a traditional controller versus all the other controllers. It actually accommodated PC users.
I'll still say that controller flopped.
Yeah, it flopped because
most PC folks just use the Xbox controller.
right,
or a DualSense or whatever. Like they're not like, oh man, I can't wait to get that Steam controller. You know
yeah, but you gotta see it as a R&D for this right here. This is what it was going towards. All right, they just start piecemealing it so they can build the ultimate system. Like out of the three, man, this looks very attractive to me because day one, I have a lot of games for it already, and it feels like a lot of future games will make its way to Steam. So I'm like, this is the ultimate system here. And you know what's cool? If I buy a game for this, it again goes back to my PC. I'm not gonna lose it. I can dig it up. I can uninstall it. I can install it. That is just killer for me. Because I had so many PlayStation systems that I went through, Xbox systems, and I will never touch them. Because the hassle of getting out of bin to set it up is just not worth it, bro. I'd rather just get the remaster version at some point, you know.
Well, that's why some folks are all about streaming, right? Because there's like no setup. But like,
no one's figured that out yet.
So that means tomorrow. That means tomorrow morning I will see you like first in line reserving your
I am gonna celebrate myself. Yes.
You will drop 500 bones. And
500.
Yeah.
I'll go for the ultimate.
So you're gonna go for the $600 or $700 one? Okay, word.
Of course.
Another thing with this thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it straight up.
Yeah.
Man, it's ugly. It is not good looking.
It is kind of 80-ish, sharp, rectangular-ish. It doesn't have the smooth ergonomics. It looks like a Game Gear or what was it?
Yeah, Game Gear. Yeah.
But you know what, man? It's a diamond in the rough, right? The concept is so strong. I truly believe, like, obviously it's going to sell out, right? You know, the limited supply. Whatever.
Well, they're only going to make like 10 of them, but yeah.
Sure. It's obviously going to sell out. It's the strongest portable, right? It's stronger than any phone Switch by far.
Sure. Yeah.
In day one, man, you have all the games that you need. I have so many games. I know anybody who's a Steam user have so many games they haven't gotten across. For that price, it freaking is awesome. You know, imagine buying a traditional system. You're dropping 60 bones for a new experience, right? And it takes a while to get several of that experience. Day one, and you know, I don't know how many games you got. You know, we're in the hundreds, right? Probably. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that's just a general idea where I can build up a library and never be afraid of not having it anymore. That's just the power of Steam, man. 10 years ago, Steam strong, right? Everything else in a bin. And that's pretty sad. Yeah.
Here's the other thing about building up your library. Here's the crazy thing. So this thing is just a PC, right? It is a PC, right? Basically. Right?
Love it.
You could actually run the Epic Store on it and install Epic games.
Even better. That's why Epic. I did see a little tweet. What did Tim Sweeney say? Tim Sweeney. So how much? So it is gonna be able to run like its OS and stuff. Like what's the interface like? I didn't really dig into that too much.
Well, it's through that emulation, right? Like it's running the games through an emulation that runs on top of Linux, right? So I believe that any Windows app would be able to run on it.
So here's Tim Sweeney, right? The guy who hated Steam to start the Epic Store, says that it was very interesting, an amazing move by Valve, quoted by Tim Sweeney. He said it will allow users to run pretty much whatever they want, and the whole thing runs with the pre-installed Steam OS with Windows. So,
like it required for you to use it, you need a Steam account, but it is a PC, right? So you could install any third-party software.
Yeah, so it's an open platform where users are free to install software for their own choosing.
Yeah, and it says and operating systems, which I think is kind of crazy, right?
That's amazing. So if you have all those free games from the Epic Store, now you can play it too. Like, dude, it is the most open system out of all the consoles.
While it's still far from clear how easy it will be to install third-party stuff in the Steam Deck or how well Epic Game Store games would run, if at all, it's a notable stab at openness in a market characterized by walled-off ecosystems. Right? Gabe is against. It's kind of weird because Gabe is against walled-off ecosystems, but yet Steam is kind of a walled-off ecosystem. So it's cool that you can do that on the Steam Deck, but again, who is this for?
Hey guys, a quick word from our sponsors for this episode,
GamesBoost 42.
You guys, building an app and trying to get it to launch off in the mobile market is one of the hardest things to do. I should know. I used to work at a mobile company. A lot of it has to do with getting people to try your game more so than how great your game is. But if your game is already great, why not partner up with someone as great with the marketing and everything else that comes with making a successful app?
GamesBoost 42.
It will help you increase your revenue and make it grow faster without any investors or publishers. Get access to your App Store revenues today and keep 100% control of your company and products. Also, they will fill your marketing for the smallest percentage rate on the market, starting at 2.2%, with crystal clear paperwork that has no hidden costs. What you see is what you get. They are the official partners of 5 top-notch mobile agencies to provide a full range of marketing service for those of you who want to just sit back and see your user acquisition grow. So do yourself a favor, don't wait any longer.
Go to GamesBoost42.com.
The link is, as always, available in the description of this podcast. Now back to our episode. It's for me, man. For people who have a shitload of games and they're not always dedicated in front of the computer. They're at a crossroads of what system I should be getting, and they're holding their $500, $600 at hand in cash, and they're trying to put it in a most future-proof system. This is future-proof. Sure, they'll release a part 2 or whatever, right? Yeah. But you can still play your games, right? You can still play the games that you bought in the last 10 years. And you know what? The next 10 years of games will also be available when we're all super old, right? So, dude, that kind of guarantee, the behemoths of Xbox and PlayStation can't even promise that. The Switch systems, when Switch 2 comes out, can't promise you that. Yeah. That it's an old problem that have never been addressed. There's some fancy technology out there hoping to overturn that with the Steam streaming and stuff like that, but I don't think that's a great solution because you don't own any of that product. So what about the stuff that I've owned, right? You don't
own the stuff on Steam either. Like you have a false sense of ownership because tomorrow.
But I'm not paying $10 like Netflix to keep my Steam going. So that is that's a huge difference, man. That's huge. It's basically a share drive.
It's a higher risk because you aren't paying a monthly fee. It's a higher risk.
What risk I don't pay a monthly fee. What are you talking about?
No, you don't pay a monthly fee, so it's a higher risk is what I'm saying. Because
with moves like this
between you and Steam, right? You just have to trust that Steam will continue to provide to you the games.
Of course. But look at the deals that we're dealing with now. Like all those PlayStation games, Xbox games, where are they, Ray? Where are they? They're in your bin. You're never playing with them. You're never going to play with them.
I bought Anno 1800 on PC, and then they got the deal with Epic, and then they removed it from the Steam store, and so new people couldn't download it. But because I already bought it, they let me still access it. There you go. You're good. You're going to still have this problem of content ownership. Regardless of
but this problem
today.
It's a problem. This problem with content ownership is by far a better deal than the other side of the fence, right? Because the streaming, I think it's a nice rental service, right? But the fact that you don't have to pay for Steam is great. The fact that Steam is still kicking and coming up with new ideas is very hopeful. Like Gabe has no reason He has no reason. Well, he has no reason to do anything, right?
Is this innovation? Is this what it looks like? Really?
200 people at Steam rolling in money every day, every morning, right? When they clock in, have no reason to be creative ever again, right? It's a small company pumping billions every month, right? No reason to do anything. But here they are, right? Within the last 2 years, we get a new VR headset. We got a new Half-Life. You know, we get promises of three new.
What? Oh, Half-Life Alex. You're talking.
Yeah.
That's
three
not
new.
Half-Life, but it's very good though.
It's very good. But like three IPs in the pipes, and then another attempt of hardware, which I feel is more attractive than all the other consoles at this point, right? Because all those games are eventually moving to PC, right? So Steam is still king. In addition to what's happening and what's blossoming over at the Epic Games Store, right? Those guys are doubling down, right? 300 mil last year, right? And in terms of losses to get exclusives, to give them away. I have quite a library over there as well. Now I can access them as well. And they are forever, you know, within a click, right? That is something that these two stores have been able to provide that both Microsoft and Sony are still playing catch up, right? That's huge, man. I don't know anybody that is able to do this right now.
This feels like old man stuff. Quite frankly, I think I would be more impressed if it was like, yo, Valve's streaming, like I said before, Valve's streaming service, and like this.
Well, I think that is the next.
This thing is also what we didn't talk about was the weight.
The weight of it. It's probably pretty heavy.
Like, the people have done that kind of like they're like basically if you take your Switch and put your phone on top of it.
Is it that heavy?
It's about that heavy, right? Which like some people already get restrained from the Switch, so and heavier handheld, and then it has trackpad where you got to use your man. I'm getting carpal tunnel just thinking about it, right? So like,
oh my god, it's not meant for the weak, bro. It's not meant for the weak. It is for the hardcore gamers. Okay,
I need to lift more weights, I guess. I need to pump some more.
Oh my god, I'm sure it's not as heavy as everyone's making it out to be.
I don't see it, man. Don't see it.
I don't think it's gonna be a crazy Nintendo Switch seller, right? I think it's a very particular, you know, you're not going to see any ads about it at all, right? I think it's very experimental still. But
why? Like, why are we doing this? Like, just because we got money to burn? Like, why though?
Just because they need to extend their lifeline, man. Steam is probably heading to a direction where, you know, a lot of these third party are moving over to Epic. We're having a lot more choices, right? There's only so much that Valve can make on their own exclusive. That's why they're starting to, but it's going to take them a while to build up that library again. Third party software, you know, are have their own libraries as well. So if you're in Steam's shoes, you need to do something. You just have to make noise again, right? This obviously will create a buzz and excitement, because they do have a competitive edge. They do have a competitive edge, which is relying on personal libraries that have been building up for most people 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, like I have a Steam library. I play Steam games all the time, and I'm just like,
why?
Nah. Why is this happening?
Because you like being glued on your seat.
It's not just that. Like, I'm even thinking about the games that I would play on my PC. Like, okay, let's think about a game I'll play on my PC, like Civ 6.
Yeah.
And Civ 6 is actually, I think Civ 6 is actually on Switch as well. Like, you can play Civ 6 on Switch. But anyway, like if I was to play Civ 6, I don't want to play Civ 6 on a portable. Like, I don't want to have the mouse controls on a portable. Just dock it, bro. Yeah, that's a PC. I already got my PC, right? So like, I don't see the point. I think it's cool that you can dock it. I think it's cool it can do 4K at 120 hertz, like when it's docked. I think it's cool that like it has a pretty beefy CPU, GPU, and memory and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm not hating on any of that at all. I just don't see who is this targeted at. It's targeted so far. What I've learned is it's targeted at Brandon Pham. Like, that's only one person, bro. Like I don't see
the cool guys, the guys who can see the potential, the future. Yes, those type of guys, the Brandon fans.
I don't see it. I just don't. And like I'm willing to be proven wrong. Like I totally want to be proven wrong on this, right? But like I got the popcorn out. I'm just waiting to see.
I think the general consensus.
Steambox flopped. So
I mean, they do have a history of a lot of hardware that becomes forgettable. But like
man.
I think the general consensus is probably that way too, half and half, right? Some people are excited, most people are kind of playing the wait game and see what it's all about. It is lacking that marketability, right? I don't think if any of us see that someone's using it, we'll be curious, but it's not going to be a huge buzz seller, right?
Yeah. I see somebody using it. I'm like, what is that big ass thing you're using? It's a Steamdeck.
It's very niche, but I think it's just one future way to make it super attractive, man. Like you said, as soon as they build that streamability where you're not downloading anything, right?
I'm sure out the box it will probably support Steam Link. I can imagine that if it's on the same Wi-Fi network, you just Steam Link.
Beyond that, like now you don't have to be on the Wi-Fi network. You know, you be on. I don't. Well, what is their network? Do they have 5G capabilities? What was going on with that?
No, I think it's just Wi-Fi, right? There's no. I don't think there's actually a cellular network. Yeah, it's just Wi-Fi. There's Wi-Fi.
Okay, so it's only Wi-Fi, but I think that they have a long plan for this. They're just trying to get into people's pocket, right? And they're trying to basically, people who weren't on Steam before, give them a reason to. Now they don't need a beefy PC anymore. They can just use this and play all the games that they want. I wouldn't be surprised. If Valve at some point comes out with Valve Access, some kind of service where you can rent. And I think if anybody were to do it, they can, right? Talk to these developers and be like, hey, here's a percentage, for 15%. Give us the ability to kind of stream your game for this month or something instead of 30.
But here's the thing, right? We've in this talk we've come up with better ideas. What they could have released instead of what they released.
This is the first step of that. I think. Man. I think this is the gateway towards that future. Like these type of moves that I'm seeing. Let's be honest here. Valve has been a sleeping giant for like 7 years, basically since Left 4 Dead 2, right? They have done shit. Yeah, they get Dota. They have like these little like card games, but like in terms of the type of stuff they were pumping up before, yeah. But in terms of like all the what there used to be, right? They just were sleeping and hibernating, and suddenly in the last 3 years, I've seen more activity than I've seen the last 7 years. So they are building up to something here. They are making maybe limited supply of this, but they're experimenting with some theories to unveil like their big megalith plan. Right? I really do feel like they're building up to something at this point. You got the VR headset, you got this. I would really put it out there that there's no way that these are separate ideas only, right? There is some kind of thing that they're trying to make here, an ecosystem with, of course, Steam being the center of it, but like having these hardware of all cases. Like who would have thought they've been going the hardware this hard, right? I really do think that there's a lot of smart people here there that they're really building up to something that is going to be pretty amazing. I don't know what yet. I mean, the experimentation of Steam Link, their continuous investment in this industry when all they needed to be is just become a Best Buy for online, right? They don't really need to do anything beyond that, but they're still doing it. Gives me some kind of hope that, they're one day they're going to have that killer thing And all this is contributing to that unveiling is how I feel about it. Yeah. It is odd. I agree with you. This is random as shit. This is a day before launch, right? There was no build up. They're just dropping it.
It's you could reserve it tomorrow.
Yeah, the day before reservation.
Yeah, you don't get it until like
December or whatever. Yeah, that's odd. That's weird, right? Completely left field. It's been rumored for a while, but it wasn't. It's not clear what their trajectory of as a company is just yet. Like Steam as a company, they're still private, right? And because they've been sleeping so long, they kind of let other competitors kind of play catch up a bit, right? And so now it's kind of the problems on the front door now. Now they're doing something about it. My question is, do you think it's too late? Like, do you think whatever they're planning, Epic Game Store is gaining ground, but it's nowhere near, obviously to where Steam is just yet. What is, like, if I were to hand you over the key, right? Gabe kind of retires. What would be the move for Steam if they want to grow beyond where they are, right? What
beyond where they like?
Yeah, what is it?
I think the streaming stuff is a good way of getting more. Like maybe they're trying to look at this as a way of expanding the user base, but who is picking this up, right? Like I just don't get it. But if you're doing streaming stuff and all of that, like yeah, I could see that definitely growing the user base, right? I think even devoting, even though it doesn't make any money and they make way more money not making games, I think like continuing to invest in actually making games would also help a bit. I would say that they did do with the marketing of their name and their brand.
Right. Something magical did happen with Half-Life Alyx, right? I didn't see such a big interest in VR headset, until obviously the Quest 2. Like it was a big uptick, and still to the very day, I can't really name a Quest 2 game that was as buzzworthy, right, as Half-Life Alyx, at least with that community, right? And we haven't heard anything since, really, besides Half-Life Alyx that was like, you got to play this game.
All you need in your life is Beat Saber. I don't understand.
Beat Saber's old. It's
old. It's still dope as hell though. That's dope.
Oh my god, it's not the type of game that I want to play. Yeah, it's like a different flavor, right?
I've been on here so many times. People know that I'm a Beat Saber fan because I've been on here enough to talk about Beat Saber. But
yeah, only fan still. Yeah.
I'm not the only one. That's not true.
Like I have a VR headset that's collecting dust, right? I love Alyx. I still have to finish it, but it was a huge alternate universe perspective for me, a game changer. There's something about this I still think is very attractive. It's just, I think if anything, time is so limited now, right? As I'm getting older, and portable has I'm really bad. I don't know what it is. I have a phone that's capable, just like most, but for some reason I don't really play mobile games, right? I have no interest. I'm not looking out for anything. I know there's first person shooters now on it. Even then I'm like, I don't want to use my phone. It's just as a game device. It still feels like a step down, right?
Yeah.
The controls.
I'll say Call of Duty Mobile. Call of Duty Mobile is a very, very good.
I'm sure it's really good. I'm not downplaying. Obviously, a lot of mobile games.
Like I hate virtual sticks.
Yes,
and it's baffling how good that is. Right, like I'm just like, wow, they put a lot of work into this.
Really, that's what happens when you have billions of dollars. But like, even with that, it's just it is a downgrade, right? From using a controller to virtual controls. Always. There's just no replacement. That's why the Switch is still very awesome. It's like the best hybrid of everything. But it's very limited in its library. So that's in terms of like me wanting to play outside other games, right? Outside of Nintendo and some third.
Like I mean like people played Legend of Zelda for hundreds of hours. Like I don't understand. Like you know what I mean? Like when you have that, and you have Mario, and I
have GTA 5.
Like, right. Why do you need to play anything else? Because you also know that those games just like personal opinion, but I think a lot of people agree with me. Those games are some of the most well designed.
They're very good, and that's why everyone should have a Switch, right?
Why do you need anything else? Like, why are we even talking about limited library?
Oh my God! Why experience anything new ever again, right? Well, you're asking such a dumb question, man. Of course, everybody wants to experience everything. You know, if someone says Red Dead Redemption 2 is awesome, I'm not going to come back with saying, well, Legend of Zelda is awesome too. No, I don't need Red Dead 2.
No, I'm going to say this. If you had money, right, yes, and you only had enough money to buy
one thing,
Xbox One,
yeah,
PlayStation, or a Switch. Like, I mean,
it should be the Switch. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there's just no question you should buy the Switch.
It should be the Switch for the fact that, yes, it has great games, but the portable portion of it is just unmatched, right?
It's just no question.
Yeah. It's just great hardware.
Yeah.
That's why I'm turning to this. This is the answer to the Switch for all the other games that we like. Yeah.
What this is lacking though is
the form factor. This has the games.
Well, it has a lot of games, but it doesn't have Nintendo games. So you feel what I'm saying here?
What I'm saying is you got two pockets, bro.
And it looks like trash. And it looks like trash, and it's heavy, right? Like, you know, I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
Lift some weights and stop the yapping, man. What are you talking about? Of course. If you want power in your hands, dude.
Yeah.
Power
gets in your hands.
Power gets heavy. All right.
Is this a Nintendo Power Glove commercial there?
Bro, if they somehow figure how this like can attach to their VR set, man, I'm gold. That'd be awesome. Because wouldn't that work? You think? What do you think?
What?
If they want to take on Quest 2, right? I got this honking little thing. I wear it as a backpack, right? I put on their stupid index, right? Now I can play VR games. Like, this is what I'm saying, man. They're building an ecosystem of hardware that eventually will talk to each other. That's what they're doing, right? There's no way they're not doing that. The fact that it's on a Linux system, right? The software is already there, right? Now they just need a wire.
That's or something. Because they hate Windows. That's really what it's like.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is it's flexible to like anybody, if they haven't done it already, people can hack that, right? If they have an index that needs to be connected to a PC, now I can play my VR games now, right? Wouldn't that be the case with this?
Like, I mean, it could become like, if you put it in a different form factor, it could become like, a puck, like the puck in for Magic Leap, right? Magic Leap had the thing you clip on,
right?
The glasses were attached to. It could be something like that. Yes, potentially, maybe.
Well, what are these like? They obviously have like USB-C and
that's USB-C port and micro SSD ports, and like it's.
I'm telling you, man. I'm putting it out there, man. This is going to be the center. Hardware. Why we got to really go back, right? Why the hell are they in hardware, right? They're a software company, right? Look at Microsoft, right? Let's go back a little bit of history. They're a software company first, and now they came out with all these tablets, or I mean mainly tablets, and now hardware in terms of Xbox, right? But their main problem is they lack the vision of what Apple is about, where everything talk to each other, right? Everything rely on each other.
Oh, who are you talking about? Microsoft?
Yeah, Microsoft lacked the Apple cohesiveness.
Like, that was true of Microsoft maybe 10 years ago. But today?
Yeah, today they're trying. They're always 5-10 years behind Apple and everything, right?
No, but like today, every time you see a Microsoft presentation, a Microsoft ad, they show how everything works with like between your phone, the Surface, a PC.
Right. But what I'm saying, is they took that from Apple.
Of course, they are Apple through and through. Like these days, you know what I mean.
But they're not quite there yet, right? Yeah. Apple is leaps and bounds ahead.
Sure,
because day one they thought about it like that, and that's why. Even as a PC Android user, like I see that Apple Watch, I'm like, I kind of want to I kind of want that. But that means I would have to go get an iPhone to make it work completely, right?
Yeah.
And then, they got their iBook store and all this stuff, right? Windows is still like the ugly stepbrother, right? They haven't figured it out completely. You have this tablet that looks like a PC. They have this Microsoft business that is booming, but Windows and generally don't acknowledge that yet, really, right? Hardly. They don't really acknowledge that the Xbox is hard. As if you talk to every Windows user, not everyone knows about the Xbox, is what I'm saying, or cares for it.
I mean, the Xbox app is standard in Windows.
Sure, it's there, and much like Windows other crap on Windows that you never click on. Right? The great thing about Apple is like, here's everything that's included as an Apple user. It's like right front and center, and they're very good at that.
They can be better
marketing,
presentation and stuff, but like I think Microsoft has made huge leaps
and bounds, but still way behind, right, in the race, right?
Enormous.
So I think and I believe Valve is already setting this up from the ground up. They just haven't revealed these devices talking to each other.
I mean, Valve,
because the Quest 2, like, think about it, man. If I were to look at the industry right now, this is probably what they did. They look at the industry right now. Hey, mobile is awesome, but it's separate from PC culture and console culture. VR is awesome, but for the longest time, it's not portable, right? Quest 2 is cool, but it's lacking. It's doing better, but it's not there yet in terms of I can play all the PC VR headset. They must be looking at this like, dude, we get this ugly piece of shit out here, right? We strap it as a backpack. We got this index that we love. We strap that onto it, man. It's gonna be the ultimate console. It's the ultimate console. You telling me I can't connect my index to this or my VR headset?
No, I'm gonna say it like this again. In this little conversation that
the Quest 2 can connect to this.
In this conversation that we're having, we have had
better ideas. I am giving them the benefit of the doubt that this is on their blueprint of taking over the world, man. I really do feel they have the strongest library out of everybody, which is just pretty much all the games, right? The longest sustainability, right? That library has not changed for me at all. I am the most proud of that library versus all the games that I ever gathered up. Like, I am able to pull up a game that I loved 10 years ago in my Steam library and have my kid play with it, which is like a huge accomplishment in my mind. Like, I can't do that. I tried it with my PS2. I actually bought a PS1 system, like one of those classic ones where they kind of refurbished and made the new one, right? And made it smaller. I set it up and connected to my son's computer. It's like, hey, man, these are the library games that I grew up with that I think he can benefit from, right? Just play them out. He played 2 games within an hour and said, I don't want to play this anymore, and went back to playing PC games because the hardware was a bitch. Putting the CD in and waiting for the load up was annoying, right? You're basically busting out an 8-track next to your Spotify system.
Yeah, those games are also like very not accessible.
Right. They are lower class, sure, but like, if it was on my Steam, yes, aside from dealing with the bad graphics and whatever, it's still a solid game. You can still.
That's right.
Yeah, but like, I could probably play Final Fantasy VII right now on Steam. Right? I'm not sure if the Final Fantasy VII, but like, as an example, I would still have a very good experience, free from hardware limitations, right? And that's what they got going for them, man. That library, they're not doing a good job. Like, they're doing a one-liner, right? But that should have been their marketability. It's like, hey, we've been part of your lives for the last 10 years. So the next 10 years, we're excited to build this journey with you again, right? They need to really celebrate that, man. I don't think that that has enough emphasis on how great Steam is. It's like I switched so many PCs, we've upgraded so many times, right? But our library have always been there. Like that's huge, man. Like they if anything, the crime committed here is their marketing team. Right? Their marketing team suck. Right? They're not doing a good job of why. Like I would have took the angle as like this hardware is nothing. It's all about your Steam library, right? They should have took that angle of why this hardware supports your Steam library. It's like your Steam library is not locked to your location anymore. You can finally take your Steam library on the go, right? And what is the Steam library? It's every freaking game that you've ever owned since the beginning of Steam.
Do you know how else I take my Steam library on the go?
What?
I just get a Windows Surface or a laptop.
Oh my God. It's not the same, man. It's not the same.
And I have a controller. That.
Oh my God! Why don't you just connect your old Nintendo Wii to your laptop, all right, and have all these wires, right? And you're like, oh, this is my new portable system. You're such an old guy, dude. You have a contraption like Ghostbusters, and you're like, this is my portable computer. Look, it's the same thing.
Portable? You say laptop's not portable?
No, man, it's not portable in the pure sight of someone playing on their laptop. It's like 10,000 wires. It's big and hulky.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I don't know.
I agree with you that this isn't like, I don't think it's going to blow up huge, right? They're only making it limited, which also means that's only for hardcore. It's experimental, right? It is. It really is. But I think they're just getting data at this point, right? They're getting data and going to build this ultimate system, which is going to be VR and portable, right? And something more powerful than the Quest 2. Quest 2 is great. I think it's a great direction. But the only problem with the Quest 2 is that you're basically very committed to VR, right? And there are a lot of games that both you and I enjoy that is not VR. And so, I think the PlayStation is the closest to kind of solving that issue, where they have a very good PS VR hardware, very good system, and in terms of library, very good library for their VR games. But the main issue with that is it's still not portable, man. We need an ultimate system. And of course, the mobile is super portable, but it's lacking all the benefits of a console. The Switch is probably the closest out of everything because it is portable. The controls are great. And, it really promotes LAN parties really well, right? It's awesome.
Yeah.
Out of everything, I think this is the closest next to the Switch, combining everything. I'm telling you, man, as soon as they release like a USB-C index set, they're like, hey, check this out. Plug it to this thing. You can play VR on the go. What's up? They probably are doing that right now. I'm pretty sure it's ready day one.
I mean, I think you give them a whole lot of credit, and we should. All I gotta say, I say it again. I got my popcorn out.
I'm gonna be sporting this the next time I visit, and I'm like, oh my God, you're missing out. It's like, oh, I wish I was you like 6 months ago. He's like, yeah, I know.
Dude, I'll be more than willing when you buy it to try it out. I'll be more than willing, but I will let you be the guinea pig for sure. Yeah.
All right, I'll be the cool kid first. All right, you can deal with my crumbs. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We went a full hour. I mean, it was the most exciting thing that I've seen the last month. Of course, there's a lot of other news, but GDC is around the corner. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more of this stuff, which probably makes sense why they're announcing it now, because GDC is next week. So,
I didn't even know GDC.
No one knows that GDC is next week. Yeah, but I'm willing to bet we're going to hear a lot more, right? So I'm going to say it here. Right? If you see a stupid VR set connecting to this thing, I called it. I think that'll be fantastic, man. If I can play my PC games or my VR games, which is the future here, that would be. I'll be so happy with my purchase.
It's so crazy. Weren't you a VR hater for like the longest time? Like I don't understand what's going on.
I love VR, man. I hated the fact that you needed to do all that setup, right? The future is the less setup, the better, right? This is why
That's why the Quest. Well, that's why the Quest is so dope. Right.
Quest is dope because yes, you can play your PC stuff, but you're still hooked to the PC. Like you want to play the hardcore. Yeah, if you want to play Half-Life Alyx, yeah.
No, I can't. Well, the Half-Life Alyx is not on the Quest. Yes, you have to do tethered nonsense, right? But like
this is what I mean. Like everybody is all into their exclusive, and Steam is the only open thing, right? I need to just have a system to play all the games that I want to play. Like I don't want to be tied or walled off of the hardware anymore. It's so old, bro. We're in the life of cross playing, right? This is the new generation. Right? These walls set up by these companies need to be broken down, right? So let's break it down together. And I think Valve is the leader in this right now because they can show, even though it's ugly, that they can make hardware and software out of everything.
Yeah, I don't know if they've shown they can make art. Like they shown they can physically make it, but yeah, that's about it. All right, man.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Ray, as always, for coming on to the Roundtable News and discussing the last hour about the greatest news of all, which is the Valve Steamdeck. But without further ado, I want to thank you for all the listeners out there. Thank you, Ray, for coming on. And as always, you can find Ray at his Twitter handle at Waterass. Wadaraz, Wadaras. Check the link description for information and give him your peace of mind. Tell him what's up, why he's behind the curve again. Just be as honest as I did.
Well, I don't know what you say again because I'm usually right. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, man.
All right, man. No problem.